How to Be a Hero. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey Vic, is this another episode? Are you at Clint's Comics? I'll answer those questions by saying, yeah, buddy! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nutley, and I am the Comic Hero. And that's right, folks, we are at Clint's Comics once again, and doing another episode. This is episode 54. I have some bad news, though. The Any Questions segment is there's not going to be any questions segment this week. I did not get any questions from anyone. So, and I can't obviously ask and answer my own questions. That wouldn't look right. So, I'm going to begin this segment with Comically Speaking. So, without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, as promised, I'm going to talk more about Convergence. Now, Convergence is a two-part miniseries that starts in DC next month, and it's written by Jeff King. If you don't know who Jeff King is, he has written and produced shows like White Collar and Stargate SG-1. So if that's not reason enough to go out and read it, nothing is. Alright, but right here I have a list of all the books that are going to be, that DC is canceling in March. And when I mean canceling, I mean they're not coming back. Period. Or are they? Alright, they're Aquaman and the Others, Arkham Manor, Batman Eternal, Batwoman, Green Lantern New Guardians, Infinity Man and the Forever People, Injustice, Gods Among Us, Year 3, Clarion, Red Lanterns, Secret Origins, Star Spangled War Stories featuring G.I. Zombie, Swamp Thing. That's right, folks. For all you Swamp Thing fans, I'm sorry, but it's getting canceled for good. Trinity of Sin and World's Finest. There are probably going to be some other books I mean, DC is, what they're doing, they're canceling these books, and then some of the books in the other monthly books are going to get, are just going to get shelved for about 2 months. Then they'll start back with issue number 41 or whatever issue that they start, that's coming out this month. And there's some books that are good. Yeah, Clint?
I was just going to say that a large percentage of those comics you mentioned are some of the worst sellers I got in DC.
Yeah, y'all heard it. I mean, the only reasons these books are getting canceled is because they didn't sell very well. You heard it from Clint Thomas. Okay, and a lot of the books like Superman, Detective Comics, The Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and Teen Titans, those books are going to be put on hold for about 2 months, and they're going to resume with the previous issue. And this month they're coming out with their 40th issues, or Teen Titans is coming out with the 8th issue. But here's some of the tie-in titles to Convergence, and the first wave of them are some of our fan favorite books, and those are Superman, the Atom, Batgirl, Nightwing / Oracle, Speed Force, Titans, Justice League, The Question, Batman and Robin, and Harley Quinn. Now that's the first wave of books. Those are going to serve as two-part tie-ins to Convergence. And then the second wave of Convergence tie-in titles. Now these books that I'm about to announce or read are from like the early to mid 90s, like during Zero Hour in the Batfall story arc. And they're Superman, Man of Steel, Batman, Shadow of the Bat, Justice League International, Catwoman, Supergirl, Matrix, Superboy, Aquaman, Suicide Squad, Green Lantern / Parallax, and Green Arrow. And those were books that came out while I was in junior high, basically. Well, junior high / the last 2 years of elementary. Anywhere from 1990 through 1996, maybe. All right, the third wave of Convergence tie-ins. Now these are all 80s. Now these are all 80s books, or some of the characters that have been around, since the 80s. Batman and the Outsiders, The Adventures of Superman, The Flash, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern Corps, Justice League of America, Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes, Swamp Thing, New Teen Titans, and Hawkman. Yeah, folks, like I said, these books are going to serve as 2-issue miniseries that are going to be tie-ins to Convergence. And Convergence will run all this is going to run all the way through May 27th. So go ahead and if you're a fan of DC books like I am, then and what they're going to basically be doing is that they're going to combine just about all the entire multiverse and make it one. At least that's what I think they're doing. All right, I just got finished getting caught up with Spider-Woman, and let me tell you some of the things that happens. Of course, the first 4 issues of Spider-Woman are tie-ins to Spider-Verse, and she comes in contact with her counterpart from the Loom World Marvel Universe, and find out that she's pretty much I'm going to try to say this without. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to put anyone down, but the Loom World version of Jessica Jones is a witch, and she is a witch to Morlun of the Inheritors. And for about a few issues, until I think issue number 3 or 4, she goes masquerading as her while the Jessica Jones of Loom World is away. And when she comes in contact with her, she pretty much lets her know what Morlun was really up to. Well, Morlun and the Inheritors were really up to, which this Jessica Jones had no idea. And in issue number 4, she pretty much liberates herself, as well as just about all the other people on Loom World, after the Inheritors. Now, this takes place shortly after all the Spider characters defeated the Inheritors. And then, when our Jessica Jones returns to our Marvel Universe, she does the unthinkable. She quits the Avengers. That's right, folks. She quits the Avengers, and she wants to. And the reason why she wants to do that is because she wants to help regular people. And she even reopens her office. Oh, and not only does she quit the Avengers, she also quits all the other agents that that she's a member of SWORD, S.H.I.E.L.D., and Hydra. And she even befriends Ben Urich of the Daily Bugle. And at first, her venture into being a solo hero doesn't go very well, because just when she thought, in number 5, just when she thinks she beats up this robot that's trying to mug this woman in an alley, she accidentally beats up a police officer who's inside a robot who's testing it out, and she ends up in jail. But she ends up getting sprung. So, and she has a new costume. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. So then, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
First up is Supergirl number 40. Now, what DC is doing in all of their books this month, they're coming out with variant covers that serve as parodies of movie posters. And the movie poster. Well, this is obvious. Even my little cousin who's almost a year old can figure this out. This is a parody of The Wizard of Oz, and as you can see, Supergirl represents Dorothy, and then Hell from the Krypton Return story arc represents the Cowardly Lion. Cyborg Superman represents the Scarecrow, and then Silver Banshee represents the Tin Man, and then Toto represents, well, Toto. But anyway, what happens in number 38 in the last issue, and I talked about this in the last episode, episode 53. Well, Supergirl, to tell that would have to go all the way back to a few issues before. Well, she becomes a student over at the Crucible Academy, where she's taught to better use her powers for an impending danger that's to come. And so, what happens is that she finds out later that Superboy was alive. Superboy was alive. Sorry, folks, and that he didn't die during the Krypton Return story arc, and he gets recruited by the Crucible Academy. Well, during a mission, the brother of one of the other members had injured one of the students named Comet, and so Supergirl tells all the other members of all the other students over at Crucible, go back to the academy. I'm going to make sure he gets some help. So she takes her over to her best friend's house to recover, and then she comes back and finds out the academy was empty. Like, there was nobody there. We find out that the brother of one of the members had kidnapped all of them and even tried to clone Superboy. And this is the last issue of that. This is the final issue of the story. The final story in this issue. This is the final story arc to that final chapter of this story arc. Sorry, folks. But anyway, I can't wait to read it, and I'll let you know what happens in next week's episode, because I love reading any of the Superman books. I tell you, I've been a Superman fan for I don't know how long. Anyway, next up is Superman number 39. This is an aftermath issue. It takes place after the Men of Tomorrow story arc that just ended for DC. Jeff Johns and John Romita Jr. have done such a great job that this book actually got pushed back. It was actually supposed to come out on the last Wednesday of last month, but because it's done so well, and there's been a huge demand for this book by a lot of readers, it got pushed back. But I have some sad news, folks. Jeff Johns will no longer be writing Superman after issue 40. Actually, I think this is his last issue number 39. John Romita Jr., however, will stay on the book, and I'll let you know who the new writer. I forgot who the new writer is, but I'll find out and I'll let you know in next week's episode. But what happens? Superman defeats Ulysses, but he defeated him in the most interesting way. He tries to use his heat vision against Ulysses, but then he tries to backfire it. But but then he backfires and but he uses it against Superman, and then all of a sudden all the cells in his body start to become overloaded, and all of a sudden they blast out of him and defeat Ulysses. And if that wasn't enough, Superman shared his secret identity with Jimmy Olsen after Jimmy Olsen had told him that he gave up all the money that his parents left before they died and gave it to all the poor people in Metropolis. I don't know what's going to happen in this issue, but I tell you, Jeff Johns and John Romita Jr. have done such a great job on this book. I mean, words cannot express how well they've done. All right, next up is Nova Annual number 1. Now, I've been reading Nova. I just recently got caught up with it, and let me tell you, both Jeff Johns, Ed McGuinness, who are on the book through like the first 5 or 6 issues, have done such a great job. But then Jerry Duggan took over the book, and then who's it? I always forget who the David Baldion. Sorry, folks. David Baldion. I knew his last name, but I forgot his first name. David Baldion has been doing such a great job with the artwork, and taking this Nova, whose real name is Sam Alexander, to new heights. And in this standalone annual, which really has no tie-ins to any of the Marvel books, including Nova, he guest stars Doc Green from Hulk. Whatever you do, don't call him Hulk. He'll probably kill you very politely. But anyway, he teams up with him, and I don't know how this is going to turn out, considering that Nova's a little gun-shy after going up against the Hulk's Hulk during the Avengers and X-Men Axis. And speaking of Hulk, next up is Hulk number 13. Now, it guest stars Deadpool. Now, I'm somewhat behind on this by a few issues. But what I can tell you is that after Tony Stark had surgically implanted a sliver of the Extremis virus inside of a mentally disabled Bruce Banner, he comes back to his senses, and not only that, he doesn't go back to the way he was. He goes beyond that, and he becomes Doc Green, or that's what he likes to call himself. And during this time, he ends up developing a cure for gamma radiation. And does he use it on himself? Nope. Instead, he goes around and starts injecting it in some Hulk-related characters. The first on the list was A-Bomb, formerly known as Rick Jones. The next is his own son, Scar, who is half human, half Scarian. And then next is his ex-wife, Betty Ross, formerly known as Red She-Hulk. Now he goes after his ex-father-in-law, General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, a.k.a. the Red Hulk, but was unsuccessful. Now after that, that's where I left off. But I will, as soon as I get caught up, I'll let you know what happens. Including in this issue, what happens with Deadpool guest starring in a future episode. Next up is All New X-Men number 39. Now, I'm still behind on All New X-Men. This is a tie-in to the Black Vortex. This is the 5th chapter, and some of the books that are involved in the Black Vortex are Guardians of the Galaxy, Legendary Star-Lord, this book, and Nova. But I can't wait to finally. Hopefully, I'll get the I'll get caught up with this. I'll get caught up with All New X-Men, and then get this and read this and be up to speed. And sorry, folks, I'm very good about buying books. I'm not very good about reading them, and that's mainly because because I'm working a lot. And when I'm not working, I'm tired from working. All right, up next are actually 2 books. well, 2 issues of the same book, rather, and there are New Avengers numbers 29 and New Avengers number 30, and this is these books serve as preludes to Secret Wars that's coming out, I think, next month. Clint, Secret Wars that starts next month, doesn't it, or in May? Okay, I stand corrected, in May. And a lot of interesting things going on, mostly in the pages of all the Avengers related books. As a matter of fact, these 2 books, I mean, New Avengers and Avengers World are ending. Well, these volumes rather. I can guarantee you, there has to be at least 1 volume of Avengers. Just ain't right if Avengers just ends. And up next are 2 issues of the same book that I am very disappointed are ending. And those books are Fantastic Four numbers 643 and 644. Now, the only reason that I am disappointed that they are ending is because Marvel has decided to end these books because they are very upset with 20th Century Fox's retooled Fantastic Four. Look, I don't like it any more than they do. Although, I don't know, Miles Teller as Mr. Fantastic, I kind of have mixed feelings about. Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch, that's just plain wrong. But come on, folks. Come on, Marvel. This book has been around since 1961. You want to cancel it just because of what 20th Century Fox is doing with the movie? That's crazy. But there's nothing I or just about any other reader or fan of the book can do about it. So the only thing I got to say, shame on you, Marvel. Shame on you. And the name of this story arc is called The End is Forever. And I just hope that they are not canceling, I mean, that they're not going to kill off all the 4 members, of any of the members of the Fantastic Four, much less all of them. Okay, let me get out my soapbox and get to the last book that I'm buying. And what? Oh, I'm sorry, folks. I showed y'all Fantastic Four number 644 and Uncanny X-Men number 30. I'm sorry. This is the cover to Fantastic Four number 643. I'm sorry, folks. When I get mad, I do some crazy stuff, and that was the perfect example. But lastly, Uncanny X-Men number 30. Now, I'm very behind on this book, just like I'm very behind on a lot of other books I read. The last thing that I can remember reading was that She-Hulk arrived at the Jean Grey School and had read the final will and testament of Charles Xavier, and it was revealed that there was a mutant that he depowered somewhere in South Carolina because he had accidentally killed his parents. Well, this guy's powers resurface, and not only does he ends up killing just about everyone in Newberry, South Carolina, except for him. Okay, that's 10 I bought, which brings the total number of comics I bought since December of 1997 to 6,710. No, hey, don't worry about that. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Clint is pretty much stating that this wall right behind him is empty, but hey, but that that happens when folks come to buy books, walls get empty. So, all right, well, I didn't say anything about this all episode long, but I'm going to go ahead and say this. But as y'all can see, I'm wearing this ULM themed comic hero shirt that I made, and it's for my support of the University of Louisiana Monroe, because I'm very, very, very proud to be a student there, and I'll be even prouder to say that I graduated from there, but that'll take place in a year. Look, folks, I just want to apologize because I keep saying that I'm going to be here at a certain time, but I end up getting here late. But seriously, I want folks to come out and be a part of this web series. And Clint just wants folks to to come and buy books or cards or whatever. Isn't that right, Glenn?
Cool. I do.
All right. Well, I mean, because like every time I think about, I think about the episode 3 when I did the third episode that I ever did, which was over at the Fieldhouse Bar and Grill on 165 in Monroe. I had an audience then, and at the end of it, they were clapping. And then I did episode 8, the 6,000 Comics episode, over at the ULM Band Building, and I had about 3 guest hosts and a special appearance by somebody else that I'm in band with. And then I think about episode 21, the episode where I did around some folks at ULM that I'm in the Sound Today with over at Forsyth Park. And then episode 22 that I did over Dr. Aaron Whittick's office, who's a trumpet professor here at ULM. And I just think about that, just those episodes. I think I fare better. I fare better when I do episodes here, but I fare even better if other folks were involved in it. I mean, I'm not going to be one of those blowhards that's going to say, well, this is my show, I'm going to be hosting it, it's my thing, I'm doing it by myself. No, I'm not going to say that. That ain't how I roll. And I haven't really been saying this for a long time, but if you have any ideas, anything you want me to do that's not a detriment to myself or a detriment to this web series, if you have any ideas, any suggestions for the show, please let me know, all right? I want the show to get better. It has gotten better as the episodes have gone by, but I don't want to just settle. See, folks, that's the one thing that a lot of us don't seem to understand. If we settle for things being just as good as they are, then that's just like saying there's no more room for improvement. Like, this is it. No. Somebody once asked me what was, out of all the episodes that I've ever done of the Comic Hero Show, which one was my favorite? And I told them the next episode. And I'm telling you, I right now I'm just reaching like a few folks, and probably I'm getting somewhere around like 15 views a week. I want to settle for. I want more than that. I want this web series to be on a global stage. And well, that and beyond. Or as Alan Coulter used to say on the Late Show with David Letterman when he began, throughout the solar system and beyond. That's what I want to do. But anyway, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'm about to buy these books. I'll see you next week. Till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero. No, not today. All right, first up is Supergirl number 40. Now, this month, DC is doing some of their variant coverings are parodies of movie posters. And as you can see, this is one of them. The parody. This is a parody of The Wizard of Oz, and of course, Supergirl representing Dorothy, and then Toto representing Toto. And I mean, but what happened in the last issue? She ends up, and I talked about this in last week's episode. She ends up going to, as a student at the Crucible Academy, she's trained to use her powers to better use her powers to help others. And one of the brothers of, and the brother of one of the other students decides to kidnap all the other members of the Crucible students, except for Supergirl. Supergirl goes back to the Crucible Academy only to find out that the school was empty. And she later finds out that that Superboy, who was later recruited to join the Crucible Academy, was kidnapped and was attended, and he was about to get cloned. Crazy stuff going on there. And Supergirl, this is going to be one of the books that's going to be continuing for DC post Convergence in June. All right, up next is Hulk number 13. You know what? Oh my gosh! You know what? Mom, if you're watching this, I'm very sorry. Okay, sorry. Dang it! Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Comic Hero Show. As you can, I haven't said anything about it all episode long, but I'm going to go ahead and say it now. As y'all can see, I'm wearing a ULM-themed Comic Hero shirt. It's from support of the college that I attend, the University of Louisiana in Monroe. I mean, I don't care what anyone says, it is a great college. I'm proud to be a student there. I'll even be prouder to say that I graduated there, which will happen in a year. If y'all are, and dang it!